Hello, Pittsburgh Steelers fans, and welcome to the Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate for the final time with me, your host, Owen David, Britsburgh Owen, speaking to you here in the UK. Yes, the final time I'll speak to you here on the Syndicate, guys, but I still will be on Britsburgh Owen, SAFC Exile, Macam with you into soccer, and possibly some other projects I've got coming up too. But guys, it's been a blast, hasn't it? It's been an absolute blast working for the Syndicate for just over a year, nearly a year now. I want to say, before I talk about what I want to talk about today, which is my hopes for the 2023 Pittsburgh Steelers through the off season and into the new season, I just want to say a huge thank you to Mark for it's been fantastic working with him. Huge thank you, of course, to you guys who watch all the videos and comments. We love all your comments. We love your views. We love you on the live podcast, the post game shows. Been absolutely fantastic. And I just want to say a massive, huge thank you to Gridiron Blitz. For having faith in me, for giving me the opportunity to do this. His help, his advice has been absolutely phenomenal, guys. He has been absolutely superb. And I know we're very similar in age, but he's been like a father figure on the internet to me. So, Grid, having the faith in me, you'll never know what that actually means. You've had that faith in me. And thank you so much for everything, Grid. Well, guys, the 2023 season, obviously, the off season is underway. We obviously fast approach. It'll soon be over, won't it? We'll have free agency, we'll have tagging, obviously, the franchise tags and free agency, and then we'll have the draft, and then we'll have more free agency, and then we'll have the off-season workouts, and then training camp for Latrobe, and so much coming up. But what are my hopes for the 2023 season? What are my hopes for our Pittsburgh Steelers? And what are my hopes for what we can achieve this season? And, I just want to say that I've got high hopes for this season, guys. We've got some great players. We've got some fantastic players, and Alex Highsmith had a breakout season last season. Cam Hayward, father of the Pittsburgh Steelers, TJ Watt, superstar, Najee Harris, Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, Kenny Pickett, Minka Fitzpatrick, just absolute stars in all areas of the team. Now, obviously, these guys are top players. And what we need, guys, and this is one of the biggest hopes for me for this 2023 offseason, is we go and we add to that and we build up the trenches. We use the fact that we've obviously hired Andy Vidal to build up those trenches. We need to add a couple of new defensive line pieces, given the fact that obviously Cam is not getting any younger. Montravius Adams, although he is a decent player, is not really, a starting quality. The Marvin Leal will be, of course. We really need to go and add someone in the free agency period and possibly the draft as well to bring some experience. And I would love to see them re-sign Larry Ogunjobi as well to really add some quality. And then, of course, the offensive line. I think the left side of the line really does need some work and does need some extra talent bringing in. I would really love them to see them go and get someone like Osiris Torrance, the guard from Florida, in the draft and really bolster up that line and pick perhaps a second person up. Torrance may be available at 32, and maybe even with the first pick, the 17th pick, go and get someone, if they drop, like a Skoronsky or a Johnson or someone of that caliber, to really, to go and put those two players there on that left side of that line and say, look, there's our line, let's build this. Pat Mayer did a fabulous job with that line last year, a very average line. I think the right side of the line is fairly well settled. James Daniels is a super talent. Chooks, I think, is growing and getting better. Mason Cole, although they're not a Pro Bowl caliber, he's definitely a solid center. So we've got some pieces to work there with. So I think if we go and add someone like Skoronsky or Johnson or an Osiris Torrance or Darnell Wright or Darwan Jones or someone of those calibers to the guard and tackle positions, we really will be putting ourselves in the perfect position. Because that will mean two things for the offense. One, it will give Kenny time to work, Kenny time to pick out his targets, time for George Pickens, Deontay Johnson to get deep, to give us more go balls, to give us more deep threat. Pat Freiermuth as well. And add to that as well, it'll also help us, continue to develop that running attack that developed so well in the end of last season, and really get Najee Harris and Jalen Warren moving with the ball. I think as well, we need to perhaps address cornerback through free agency or, somewhere in the draft as well. Hopefully re-sign Cam Sutton. That's a definite priority for me as well. And extend Alex Highsmith's contract. We need depth at outside linebacker. I really hope that comes along at some point, whether that's through free agency or whether that is through the draft as well. I mean, in terms of the free agency, I've even heard the fact that we could even go through looking at cap casualties. And one person who's been rumored to be a cap casualty coming out of the Tennessee Titans is Bud Dupree, former Pittsburgh Steeler himself. He could come and perhaps be a depth piece, a very fine depth piece, along with Quincy Roche, who's now returned to the Pittsburgh Steelers, giving us a decent rotation there with Watt, Highsmith, Dupree, and Roche. I think that will be a really good quality rotation outside linebacker. Obviously, the big hopes next season fall on Kenny Pickett. Go and prove you're the franchise guy, Kenny. Kenny, I think, is super talented. He's shown that. He went 7-2 down the stretch. A rookie led this team to 9-8. A rookie quarterback. I remember Peyton Manning, disastrous first season. Troy Aikman, disastrous first season. And Kenny reminds me of Burrow to some degree, to Joe Montana as well to some degree. He's got the class there to lead this franchise on. And look, Mike Tomlin's done a fantastic job with this team over the last few years. A poor team that he's dragged kicking and screaming to the playoffs one year and to the verge of the playoffs the next year. I really do think that this team has a great opportunity with the right acquisitions this offseason, through the draft, through the free agency period, and with the right re-signings in the right key positions to really be a team that is, I don't think perhaps a Super Bowl contender yet, but certainly a team that can do something in the playoffs and be a bit of a threat in the playoffs. Win our first playoff game for 6 years? I think so. That is definitely a possibility with the right acquisitions in the draft and in the free agency period. Well, I really do hope that the Steelers can, really make it a race this next coming year for the AFC North and also get somewhere in the playoffs. That's my hopes. I think we need to build the lines up, the trenches up. That is definitely a key for me, and having Andy Vidal will help that. Well, Pittsburgh Steelers Syndicate, thank you so much for everything. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your compliments. Thank you for your views. Thank you for everything, guys. It has been an absolute blast. Absolute blast. Guys, we'll finish it one last time. One last time, guys. Here we go, Steelers. Come on!